Good day, everyone. So, today's topic will be about the social consumer, which is group influences and families. This is Russell Llagas, your reporter. The next slide. So, who are they? Sino nga ba yung mga social consumer natin? So, they are the reference groups and conformity, WOM or word of mouth, opinion leaders, family decision making, roles, income and consumer spending pattern, and social class and status symbols. So, we will discuss this one by one. Okay, so next, all right. So before we proceed to each social consumer, let's discuss what is social consumer. So each consumer in society is a member of different groups depending on their culture. Various subcultures or even social class can influence their consumer purchase. A group can be formed when two or more individuals share a set of norms and beliefs. Alright. So, kung last time, ang topic tayo is about our personality, our attitude as an individual, this time we will topic groups. So, amo dyan mga tao nga nakapalibot sa aton that can influence our attitude and behavior as a consumer. Alright, so next, our first social consumer, which is the reference group and conformity. So, what is reference group? Reference groups are groups such as the social groups, work groups, family, or close friends a consumer identifies with and may want to join. They influence consumers' attitudes and behavior. A reference group helps shape a person's attitudes and behaviors. While social conformity is a type of social influence involving a change in belief or behavior in order to fit in within a group. So humans have a common tendency to adopt the opinions and follow the behaviors of the majority. So reference group and conformity do amo ni ang way kang mga taho or amo ni ang pag-influence ka natin sa mga sa tao sa palibot natin, which is our close friends or relatives or family. So they are the one who are more likely to influence ang aton nga behavior as a consumer, 'di ba? For example, we would like to buy a new car, a new dress, a new things. We tend to refer kung ano ang mas hambalo nila nga na mas nami sa aton, ba? For example, ako, kung gusto kong magbakal kang car, 'di ba? But then my friends told me na if you want to buy a new car, you better have a lot of mga maintenance pa nga dapat iobrahon. So, what I did was I listened to them, no? So, this time, I decided nga hindi lang anay because I don't have yet the capability of maintaining such a big kind of amount. So, that's it. That's how reference group works. While in the family naman, pwede naman siya. For example, our family would like to buy for the house, but then our family told us na hindi lang anay. So we tend to pamati sa ila. That's how reference group and conformity happens. So most likely just sa mga closed o sa mga surroundings na lang ang mga tao which is malapit sa aton. Okay, so next, these are the types of reference groups. Classifications of reference groups can be done in different ways. One of the criteria used in the classification is the level of influence that they impose on a person. Based on this criterion, reference groups can be primary or secondary. So, the two types of reference groups are primary reference groups and secondary reference groups. What do we mean when we say primary reference groups? So this refers to the groups of people that one meets frequently. A primary group is always small, but people have constant interactions and strong emotional relationships. So family is the best example of a primary reference groups. Others include friends and peer groups. They have a very strong influence on the people's actions and behaviors. So when we say preference or primary reference groups rather is amo dya ang mga closest friends and family natin that can influence our behavior as a consumer. Like for example, me and my friends, which is or me and my classmates. So we always, 'di ba, nga gaka interact frequently because of face-to-face classes. So I believe that I tend to influence their behavior through permi paghagad sa pagkaon or magkaon, 'di ba? So they always gani tease me nga siro ay sagra permi budol gid na. So that's how I influence and I believe that I'm part of their primary reference group kay grabe gid ang impact ko sa ila nga pagbakal. Next is the secondary reference group. So these are larger and the relationships are more impersonal. So people in a secondary group have a less emotional attachment and may have come together for only a short time. Examples are business and religious organizations, and these have less influence or no influence on one's actions and behaviors. So, our secondary reference group man niya is amo lang dya ang kisa or malaka mo lang nga makita, which is hindi man maka-influence sa imo or might maka-influence sa imo. But it always depend sa imo, sa self mo, kung gusto mo magpaka-influence sa ila or sundon ang inghambal nila. So, that is what we call the secondary reference group. Okay, let's proceed to the next. Word of mouth or WOM. So what is word of mouth? So word of mouth in marketing is the unpaid spread of information from one person to another through conversation, specifically advising on a particular business or product. So ang word of mouth, yeah, we can ma-compare ta dyan sa ginatawag nga pagka-marites. But then, in a business manner. So, kung apply is, amo dyan mabatian natin ng mga feedback halin sa mga tao nga naka-experience kang isa ka service o isa ka product. So, they tend to hambal ka mga bagay nga na-experience nila, kung ano ang na-experience nila sa product nga gingamit nanda or sa service nga ging provide sa ila. Unlike sa sa mga feedback through chat or typing is mas ang tawag ni mas maintindihan or mas reliable ya ang word of mouth. Kay dyan gid nila ma-express ang self nila as a consumer. So on the next slide, according to Lanay Moliterno, founder of Sozi, word of mouth is the most effective marketing channel, but more importantly, it is the only thing that really shows what you are building has any true value. Yes, I also agree with Lanay because kung nami gid ya ang imo nga product, pamigid na iya imo kang bibig kang mga taho. Like always nanda ihambal sa mga friends nila, recommend, i-suggest sa mga tao, 'di ba? We tend to masugata taga dyan pero nga mga tao like, uy, try mo ni bala because it makes my skin glow, the something amora, 'di ba? So it makes your product have more value and makita mo gid nga may influence siya sa isa ka tao, which means that your product is good and your product is go work. Ayan. So next is opinion leaders. So an opinion leader is a well-known individual or organization that has the ability to influence public opinion on the subject matter for which the opinion leader is known. They have an audience or following that trust them as a source of information for their interests. So opinion leaders can be politicians, business leaders, community leaders, journalists, educators, and celebrities, and sports stars. So, opinion leaders, amunid sila ang mga tao nga tag-as, which is also known. So, hindi lang makilala natin sa kilid-kilid, but then they have a lot of followers gid that gapamati sa ilang mga ginahambal. For example, for me is si Chinkitan. So he is a though advisor, or though famous siya sa TikTok, which is he always give an advice balara sa mga tao who would like to make ipon, or to start a business on a small amount. Then so I always listen to him because I can always relate, or he catch my interests. So siya na ang nagpauso sang 60K ipon ata. Yan, like 20 for today, tomorrow is 50, do parang ganun. So siya yun. So that's how an opinion leader can affect you as a consumer. Because when mabalbi ang imo nga, like si celebrity mo nga idol, gagamit kang Pepsi. So you tend to buy Pepsi all the time. So that's how an opinion leader can influence us. Next, so who do you consider your opinion leader or leaders? So we have all these opinion leaders sa aton nga kabuhi. So as sa akon is si Chinkitan. Okay? So isa sa mga business opinion leaders ko gid kay he gives so much recommendation kag ano tawag sini, ginhambal niya sa ginhambal niya sa video yay ang mga makabulig for businesses, amara. So how about you? Who do you consider your opinion leader or leaders? Ayan. Alright, so next is family decision making. One of the most common group of people nga maka-influence gid sa aton. So family decision making is a concept in marketing and consumer behavior where an individual decides to buy a certain product or service after deciding it along with his or her family. So family decision making common na. So amo na sila na, or sila ni nga mga family naton, nga close family naton, or sa isa natong kabalay that can influence our behavior as a consumer. For example, gusto ko nga magbakal sang pang skincare, like pang puti, ganun. But then my family told me nga hindi lang, because it can affect me in the future. It can destroy my skin daw. Okay. And another example is when we buy, syempre kang mga for family or for the house, nga mga decorations or mga materials. So we tend to decide as a family. We tend to discuss kung anong mas better, kung anong mas baklon. Ayan. That is a family decision making. So next, roles. So buying roles refer to the activities that one or more persons might perform in a buying decision. So roles, amo naman dya kung sa ano pa sa artista, 'di ba? May tag isa-isa sila nga role. So as a consumer, may mga role man kita, 'di ba? May mga role man kita sa kabuhi which or sa pag buy kang product or service. So which I will discuss one by one. So next, so 5 roles people might play in a buying decision. So there are 5: the initiator, influencer, decider, buyer, and user. So the most maybe I can give example is kami nga mga classmate, which is si Nicole, si Sherry, si Honey, kag si ako. And then, okay, let's discuss first. Number 1 is the initiator, a person who first suggests the idea of buying the particular product or service. So I can consider myself as the initiator, because every time or before, even before kami magpa-school, is I always initiate to say, ta Jollibee tabakalta, something like that. So I initiate always to eat food outside, parang ganon. And then the next is the influencer, a person whose view or advice influence the decision. Okay, so sa influencer, I think I can still consider myself as the influencer because I always ginapirit sila kay mga KJ ngaan. So, ginapirit ko sila nga kadto gid kag magbakal. So, next is the decider. A person who decides on any component of buying decisions, whether to buy, what to buy, how to buy, How to buy or where to buy. So I can consider Nicole and okay, tatlo sila. Si Nicole, si Honey, kay si Sherry. Because even though balon ko sa ila ko ng baklon, they always decide pa rin. They always have their comments or suggestion man kung anong nami nga baklon. So next is the buyer, the person who makes the actual purchase. So, sa buyer naman is, ang role kang buyer is kami duwa ni Nicole. It's either si Nicole lang or duwa kami ni Nicole. Kaya every time magkanto kami sa school is, it's either si Nicole ang pinakauna, so siya ang mabakal. Or di ka kung duwa kami una, kami duwa mabakal. So, they are the buyer. And the user naman is a person who consumes or uses the product or service. So, kami ni apat. Si Nicole, si Sherry, si Honey, kag ako. We are the user. Because kung ano yung bakal namon is, amo man ra, kami man mismo gakaon. We don't buy for others. Ayan, that's an example. Or, for example, kang rules kang tao that might play in a buying decision. So next is the income and consumer spending pattern. So insights into consumers' spending patterns are essential to business success, helping companies understand their target markets and devise long-term strategies based on their consumers' potential purchasing power. Income and expenditure data not only allows businesses to determine market size and forecast its growth, but also provides a uniquely detailed picture of consumer spending patterns. So this type of information can help segment the market, assess consumer demand, and pinpoint opportunities. So income can greatly influence us, or can influence our behavior as a consumer, because syempre 'di ba, when we have the budget, we can buy things. Pero kung do kulang-kulang gid, syempre hindi ta ka buy. So ma-influencean gid ang aton behavior, which is maka-change kang aton nga attitude as a person. So, na. Next is the spending patterns. Tell you what consumers are currently purchasing and how much they are willing to pay in the future in specific product and service categories. Together, these two products deliver extremely rich knowledge about the consumers within specific trade areas. So, sa spending patterns, is daw somehow may budget, trabala, for the future. For example, wala pa sweldo. And then, gusto mo magbakal kang iPhone 14. So, mamangkot ka sa, sa gabaligya, kung tagbila ang iPhone 14. So, ang bal nila, for example, is 50K. 50K. So, what you did was, every sweldo mo is gaipon ka para sa budget nga makabakal kang iPhone 14, no? Or there are times nga as a student, 'di ba? May spending patterns kita. Like for example, kung may extra kitang allowance, permi kita gabakal Jollibee, ginatreat na ton self naton. So that's how ang aton nga spending pattern work. Okay, next. Okay, next. So the social class and status symbols. So social class can have a profound effect on consumer spending habits. Perhaps the most obvious effect is the level of disposable income of each social class. So generally, the rich have the ability to purchase more consumer goods than those with less income, and those goods are of higher quality. So a social class is a grouping of people into a set of hierarchical, I'm sorry, I can't read that so much. Social categories, the most common being the upper, middle, and lower classes. So social class is amo bala ang pag ang describe ka mga tao sa palibot, which is for example mga may kaya, mayaman, pigado, do amo na bala. So that's how we call the group of people nga social class. So for example, pigado ka. So di ba? People will tend to say nga ay hindi nila afford ang Amusini, hindi nila afford ang Chanel, ang mga Louis Vuitton, mga amo na. So kung sa medyo may kaya-kaya ka, mabasa na ay gagmay lang na mga kaya nila, like 100K, ganun, 50K, mga ganun. But when you're rich, siyempre mambal sila nga, ay, bongga, one snap, may camera, may ano na sila, may car na sila, may mansion, parang ganun. Parang doon mo na, bala ang pagturok sa tao sa aton, which can influence our behavior man as a consumer, di ba? Because when we are rich, we tend to buy a lot of things. Pero kung poor kita, like me, we don't buy a lot of things and grabe kita mag-budget. Ayan. Ayan. So the next one is, okay, large houses, luxury vehicles, and other such belongings that are more expensive than an amount that can be paid as a down payment on a home loan are generally unreachable to those that are falling under lower economic or income classes. Hence, these items are perceived as status symbols. So, status symbols are primarily objects and goods that people buy as a sign of their social status, economic standing, or personal wealth. So, individuals purchase these items to show their friends, co-workers, and complete strangers that they're doing well financially. So, amo naman niya kung ang amo naman niya mga bagay or produkto nga makita kang tao, which nga example, makakita ka bulbahol nga balay. So, di ba makahambal ka nga, ay, manggaranon siya. So, the symbol is the house and the class is the, kung ano sila nga, ang level. So, amo to, manggaranon sila. Ang symbol is ang balay. So, amura ang status symbols, simbolo, kundi nga, do yan daw, kabalara do, i-classify. So, ang symbol is gustad as to pala makasify de ka kung poor ka, medyo carry man, or di gani manggaranon ka. So, that is status symbols. Like the cars, yeah, the luxury houses, jewelries, diba? Mga designer bags, designer clothes. That is status symbols. So that's all for today's discussion about the social consumer. Thank you everyone and I hope you learned something. Bye!